December 2012 seems to be what everyone in New Age circles seem to be talking about, sort of like the ultimate goal of our cycle of reincarnations here on Earth. Please give your feedback, and what can we expect?
No, fundamentally, that's a time frame where, for example, the Mayan calendar, they couldn't see any farther ahead. It became so complex and so confusing that they couldn't decipher which way mankind was going to go. Now, what it relates to fundamentally here is a point, let's call it the point of no return. Now, what we mean by that is quite simply if mankind has not chosen a better pathway, shall we say, with conservation, environmentalism, things like that, to rectify the imbalances within the Earth as a whole here, then the probability of that ever happening and the capability of that ever happening becomes less and less. In fact, one might say you're on a slippery slope downward here. Now, your polluting levels get higher, that of respiratory disease, etc., becomes predominant. So death by environmental causes becomes a major factor and influence and simply continues to increase here. Unrest, etc., on a social level, again, becomes much more predominant here. So basically, if the world doesn't get it together, if you'll sort of look at it like that and say, we are proactively going to change these things. These are things we're going to stop doing. These things we're going to do better, etc., here. If they don't do that, then you basically missed the opportunity. And you will find yourself fundamentally going backward. Do you understand?
Yes. Is that also a chance to integrate more spirit into the third dimensional life?
But yes, you see, if the world, think of it this way, we always like to look at the positive concept. Think of, and we'll have to make it very practical here, think of all the governments of the world getting together and saying, you know, it's true. We have to get rid of fossil fuels because they're polluting the world. They're making people sick. So the governments of the world say, let's find an alternative. And trust us, you know, within less than months, they would have alternatives up and going. And in no time at all, you could replace fossil fuels, quite literally. Now, in fact, you could probably here refit automobiles here within 18 months, worldwide, which would be a huge change. Now, by doing that, you start a subconscious movement in which awareness of not just the environment, but other people working together for a common cause becomes prevalent throughout the world. The concept of connection. Through connection, obviously, you have spiritual awareness. So imagine if they could do that, what they could do to human disease if the whole world put their minds together. What they could do to almost any problem if instead of competing, they worked together. It could be the infusion of true spiritual connection. Could be. Mankind has yet to choose.